So I have the great pleasure, I don't know if you see, I have a big smile on my face because I have the great pleasure of introducing Ray Netman, who's from South Africa, who's a colleague of mine from, we've worked together, a lot of the things that I've shared with you, the systemic tools and the family system information, Ray's a colleague in that, even though he's also a school child psychologist and therapist for adults, and he's trained in a lot. He's actually trained in something we're going to be talking about next week for a little bit, the community resiliency model from the Trauma Yoga Institute. I have some training in that. He has a lot of training in that. And he's also invited in a very important person in South Africa, Monkey, who is really works out in rural areas and works with some of these tools with parents. Correct, Monkey?
Mm.
Yes. So today's topic is about parent circles. How can we use some of the things that we've learned with parents? And I'm going to now we sort of checked in a bit about the weather. Usually
Very
we check
English.
in for a moment. So I'm just gonna kind of ask everyone maybe a word or two about how they are right in this moment, and then we'll get started. So who would like to start? Sergio, would you like to start? You're unmuted.
Yes, the question is, how
How
are
are
we
you?
today?
Yes, how are we? Just a few words. How are you right in the present? Just sort of get us in the present here.
Okay, I'm happy to be here and excited to learn, about what you're gonna share today.
Great, thanks.
Welcome.
Okay, well, I can do next. I'm happy to be here. I feel a bit relieved today because I did some work, the assignments, so I'm quite happy to be here. I'm quite on in time. I mean, everything is in order, I suppose. Yeah, yeah. I'm looking
Mhm.
forward to the talk. Yeah.
Mm.
And maybe you can also just say your name
Ah,
too. So
oh
Ray.
yes, sorry, I'm Didi. I just forgot. I'm Didi Ananda Sanjana. I work in Russia mostly, or Russian-speaking countries, so I cover quite a big area. I work in also other countries anyway, but mostly I'm here. I travel between in the west of Russia and Siberia, so sometimes I'm in this time zone, sometimes my time zone is a bit closer. And I'm born in Singapore, like you all know, and there had been anyway. Yeah, it's been quite a challenging 2 weeks, actually, with so many things happening in the amongst our community and all that. So yeah. Mm.
Someone else just checking in just for a moment.
Yes, I'm Emma from Finland, and I'm just fine. Apart from I've got a cold, so I've been sick a few days now, not going to work, but I'm getting better, so that's good.
Good. That's why you're not walking in the and running in the train right now. Usually Emma is having to like go home from work as she's on her phone on class. So it's good to have you here. And someone else?
Yeah, hello, namaskar. I'm Sarika, and I'm 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 not sleepy today. I'm happy today, and have a house. I think a high energy, and I'm looking forward to talking today. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're just checking in if you've just come in. So just
Namaskar.
namaskar. Say your
I
name
just
and then
nice to be here again.
Welcome.
so maybe you could say your name and where you are so the guests know kind of where you're coming from.
Mm.
So Didi, Ananda Gunamaya.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Didiana Nagunamaya. I work in Accra. That's in Africa, Ghana, no? I'm running a school. Today we are trying to build some new classroom. Yes, work going on all the time.
Okay. And maybe Mukti?
Hi everyone, I'm Monki. I'm from South Africa. I'm an ex-teacher. Now all I do is TL work. I'm doing mostly parent circles and teacher circles. I also do programs for children transitioning from primary to high school, especially for the kids who get sponsored to go into private schools. So I have a program that I do for them for their transition. I work with Ray. Ray is my mentor. Yeah. I never leave my country.
Ah,
So maybe, thank you. Mukti, maybe we can hear from you for a moment.
Yes, namaskar. Yeah, I'm Mukti. I was born in Germany, and at the moment I'm in Romania, working with Didyananda Devapriya, and well, doing education mostly like Prachar, so mostly with adults and young people at the moment, but hopefully to get to work with children soon. Yeah.
Okay.
And I went to a theater school, so I have background in that.
oh, good.
And Ashisha, are you able to talk to us today?
Namaskar. Yes, just without video, and video will be a little bit later. Sorry.
Okay.
So my name is Ashisha. I am from Russia. I was born on the west of Russia. It's like a nearby Korea, and live in east. Yeah, right. East of Russia, or not east. Короче, nearby Moscow, in Europe. So, how about the education, something, right?
Just how you are today. How are you today?
It's better. Yeah, I'm still working on my health, so it's better and better every day.
Good. Wonderful. Thank
Thank
you. Okay.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Oops. Sorry, that was my phone. My name is Linda Armstrong.
We've been,
Apparently I have a phone
someone
that,
who listening to us.
and apparently I have a phone that's a little bit,
Hmm.
I'm turning off right now. And
Hmm.
that's, so now I guess I feel great about being here today and great about having the people here that are sharing. So I'm good.
Oh, lovely. Thanks, Linda. And Mona, I'm Raymond, and I am very excited. I did this 2 years ago with Linda, and it was such a nice experience that at the end of it, there was such a beautiful sense of community that I tapped into. And the quality of people on the call were amazing. And just recognizing where you all come from and your energies that you bring just kind of speaks to this, the time we're going to spend together is going to be very, very rewarding. And so we're talking parent circles. And I must admit, Monkey is probably an expert in terms of being in the field and executing parent circles. So the history of it, we kind of managed to get a little bit of funding from our national lottery to develop the parent circle. And so we workshopped the parent circle to be able to kind of see what works and what doesn't work. And then the outlying objective of the parent circle was basically to give the parents an experience that they are each other's resources. So that was our goal. So have a workshop so that at the end of the workshop, the parents know each other enough to be able to want to be motivated to do something or to just get to know each other and recognize that they're not on their own and that they are each other's resource. And that was the journey. So it's a process to be able to move from people coming into a room, basically very shy, just sitting on their own. I'm not interested in kind of connecting with anybody else, especially it's a group of strangers, literally. Everybody's carrying their own burdens. And by the end of the 3-hour workshop, everybody's really feeling connected and feeling that they know each other because they've shared at a very deep level that they wouldn't normally share. So we've had to really be kind of very purposeful in how we create a safe space for people to be able to share in this way. And I suppose a nice experiential way of understanding how important it is to have a safe space where you can feel you can be yourself. So one of the nice exercises we do as we start off, we have to introduce ourselves to each other. So we're kind of sitting in a circle and we have to name ourselves. So just as we've done now, like I'm Linda, I'm Monkey, I'm Emma, I'm Sarika. And that's cool. So, okay, that's nice. But you want to add a little bit of action to it. So what we encourage people to do is like if I was introducing myself, I would say my name, and then I would also give my name an adjective or say something that says something about me. So like right now, my name's Ray. So I'm thinking about radiant, like the sun. So radiant Ray. So my name is Radiant Ray. And so when I say my name is Radiant Ray, everybody on the group all go, hello, Radiant Ray. And they mimic me and they say my name. So even now, if I said to you guys, hi, my name is Radiant Ray, it would be nice to see you guys all go, hi, Radiant Ray. So I'm really going to ask you to do that. There's it, Linda, like that. So put your speakers on, unmute yourselves. And then just as you kind of start off, I'm going to introduce myself as, hi, my name is Radiant Ray. And then you respond, hello,
Hi,
Radiant
Hi,
Ray.
Hello,
Radiant
Radiant
Ray.
Ray.
Hi, Radiant Ray.
Hello, Radiant Gray.
Hello,
So then
Radiant
I'm
Ray.
going to really make you kind of, just as if you were the parents, like, oh God, this is terrible. So the idea then is for everybody to introduce themselves in this way. And then everybody in the group responds by saying, hi. So like Sergio, you could say, my name is Supple Sergio. And then everybody would go, hi, Supple Sergio. So Monkey, do you want to start off? And then I'll just name you to go around. So Monkey, you start off. How would you introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm the marvelous monkey.
So give us an action so we can see what that looks like.
Hi, everyone. I am the marvelous monkey.
Hi, marvelous monkey.
Marvelous.
Hi,
Hello,
marvelous
marvelous monkey.
Monkey.
That's getting it. Monkey, was that good enough?
Yes.
Give
But I
another go. I think we're still warming up. I don't think you're really into it yet. So introduce yourself again.
yeah, if everybody would have said it at the same time, like after I say, hi, everyone, I'm the marvelous monkey. It was going to be nice if everyone says it at the same time, not individually, you know.
Let's try. Go for it.
Yeah.
So say it again.
Hi, everyone. I'm the marvelous monkey.
Hi,
Hi,
marvelous.
Hi,
Marvelous
marvelous monkey.
So,
Better. The first one.
so Linda, your turn.
Hi, I'm lovely Linda.
Hi,
Hi.
lovely
Hi, lovely
Linda.
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 Hey, Jay, there's someone's coming in. I think, let me say Emma.
Hi, I'm empathetic Emma.
Hi,
Hi,
empathetic.
Hi,
Empathetic Emma.
Emma.
So Sergio, your turn.
Hi, I am Shining Sergio.
Hi,
Hi,
shining
Shining
Sergio.
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 Sarika.
Uh, I don't. Uh, Hi, I'm crazy, Sarika.
Hi,
Hi,
crazy.
crazy Sarika.
Now, I'm not so sure of your names because your names aren't on the. So let's try Mukti.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mighty Mukti.
Yes,
Hi,
Hello,
Mighty
mighty
Mukti.
Mukti.
Okay, who still hasn't gone?
I haven't gone. I'll do it. I'm the
Okay, cool.
super Sanjana.
Hi, Super
Hi, Super
Sanjana.
Sanjana.
And who's next?
How about Didi Gunamaya?
Yeah, Didi Goodemorgen.
I'm the Gangunamaya.
Hi, Gunamaya.
Hi, Gandhi Malaya.
I'm fighting like anything.
So, Ashisha, you're going to have to work double hard because we can't see you. So, you're going to have to come up with a really nice name for yourself.
Okay. Hi. I'm very sleepy and sweetie girl. Ashisha. It's okay.
Hi, Sleepy.
Hi, sleepy and sweet.
Girl,
Yes.
Girl, Ashisha.
Ashisha.
And our new visitor, Grandanita.
No, this is Didi Ananda Devapriya. You could put your video on, dear. There. We're all coming up with a name with an adjective for ourselves. You came in a little late.
You've landed in Crazy Town.
Dancing Devapriya.
Is this, you have to have a little movement with it
No,
too.
I'm good with it. There we go. Dancing Devapriya.
Dancing Dave.
Dancing
Hi,
Devapriya.
Dancing Devapriya.
Hi, Didi.
So, like, we've just done a little exercise just to kind of. So, how do you feel now about everybody? How's it feel now? Do you feel a bit different to what you felt when you first started the call? You feel a little bit more like loose, a little bit more open, a little bit more connected.
I got more awake.
Yeah, it's like you're more energized. Yeah. I also find it does something to my smile. Like eventually I even get pain at the back of my neck from smiling so much. So it's a really beautiful way of kind of just setting the tone and breaking down the barriers between people because you're kind of making them feel a little bit awkward at the same time. But if everybody's doing it, then it's okay. I can do that. So you're kind of pushing them into a place of unfamiliarity and unknown. But at the same time, it's fun and it's lighthearted. And then people are, okay, well, this is not going to be as bad as I thought it was going to be. You know, it's not all going to be serious. At least I'm not going to be sitting here working through hard stuff. So, Monkey, what do you do to kind of break the ice when you start your parent circle?
I do it, but I believe mine is a bit emotional because I like this one that I introduce myself by saying my name and my surname, and by naming my mother's name and my dad's name. And I take it to be very emotional because you can just tell when people, especially when I do parent circles, you know, it's older people, mostly grannies, because the mothers are no more. And then if you expect a 60-something-year-old or 70-year-old to say their mother's name and their father's name, sometimes they only say one parent's name and then they start crying. That tells you a lot about their background. So from that introduction itself, I get a lot of data, I get a lot of message. And it also breaks me because whenever I have to say it, I remember that my mom is no more as well. So I become part of them and I become vulnerable. And it makes it easier for them to feel like they belong in the group, especially those who have like just one parent to mention or to actually explain that their parents are late. I like that one. Like I would say, hi, I'm Monkey Makoba. My mother's name is Josekwa Mputiakhai. My father's name is Kalamuri Pukunzi. I have 3 stepsisters, and I've got 2 stepdaughters. Already I've said enough of myself when I introduced myself. So as it goes, people realize that, oh, I'm not alone. So yeah, but it's a bit emotional. We have a lot of people crying. But funny, immediately afterwards, people feel like, oh, I'm not the only one. Even that one doesn't have kids. Oh, that one is not married. Blah, blah, blah. So that's my very, I love the icebreaker. That's the one that I use almost every time when I do parent cycles.
You want to try it with us?
Yes, and I'll start.
Okay.
Hi everyone. My name is Monki Makova. My mother's name is Kusekwampu Diachaye. She is late. My dad's name is Ephraim Kalamukunzi. I have got 1 stepsister, 2 stepbrothers. My mother's only child. I have 2 stepchildren from my husband. I've got an adopted daughter. I am a teacher by profession. Who wants to go next? Ray, you may go next.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, so my father's name is Raymond Norman Netman, and I like that I carry his name. My mother's Teresa. And yeah, they're both late. Yeah. That's me. And Linda, I'll nominate you to go after me.
Okay, I'll go next. My name is Linda, also for Shala Baker. My mother's name is Audrey Burdick Nowatarski. My father's name is Stephen Nowatarski, and they've both passed away. And my first husband's name was Brett Baker. He's also passed away recently in the last few years. And I have 2 daughters. And I'm also engaged to be married again. So that's a, interesting part of my life. To actually Sid Jordan. So yes, that makes me smile. So I can ask maybe let's ask Emma to go next.
My name is Emma Lindbekar, and my mother's name is Nina-Lis Mäki-Petäys Pashöckert, and my father's name is Osmo Mäki-Petäys, and they're both fine. And I have 2 sons, teenagers, and a husband, and I'm working as a teacher in early childhood education in a kindergarten. That's it.
So nominate someone else to go.
Didi Ananda Sajjana is next in my list. Please go ahead.
Yeah, my Didi's name is Ananda Sanjana. My parents' name is a little bit tricky. I will use my adopted parents' name because I grew up with them, not my biological parents. So my father's name is Sharfuddin, and my mother's name is Maimun. And maybe quite strange looking at me, hearing their names. I don't get well. No, they don't look like me. Yeah, I have a sister much older than me. But in my biological family, I have maybe 12 other siblings. I'm in touch with them. And I have another guardian kind of family. I have got two sisters and 2 brothers there. They're much older than me. They're much older than me. My parents have passed away. So So have my biological parents. So have my guardian parents. But I have a big family with siblings and all that, and children and grandchildren. Not me, but so yeah, a little bit about my background.
And who do you nominate to go next?
Oh, Didi Gunamaya.
So I have my father that is called Carlos Alberto. They are from Brazil. My mother and my father. My mother is Maria Cristina. And I have only one brother that's a master in Kung Fu. And he just married a Chinese lady. So that's my mundane family. I don't see them long ago. No.
Thanks, Didi. And Didi Gunumaya, can you also nominate someone to follow you?
And wait. Sergio.
Sergio.
Hi, my name is Sergio, or Sergio in Spanish, and my father's name is Sergio Arrambide. My mother's name is Laura Villarreal. They live in another city, and I have two brothers, Daniel and Patricio. I am the eldest. I am married to Teresa, and I have three children, two boys and one girl. And I nominate Valentina to speak next.
Hello. Sorry, I'm on my way home. My name Valentina. My surname Crinentos. My mother's name Halina, and the father name Andrei. So I'm from Ukraine originally, and I have a daughter, 6 years old. I'm 26, so I give her birth at 20. So I'm young mother, and my degree is a design, but now I'm studying to become a teacher. And actually, I'm working as a teacher in a British kindergarten. So now I'm currently staying in Romania. Thank you. So I will nominate Ashesha. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here. My name is Ashrisha, is a spiritual name. My parents' name is, I have two names actually. One is on the, on documents. My name is Alona, but my document name is Elena. It's like a Helen. It's a Elena. A little bit different. Yeah, I have some long story about this. And my mother's name is Nina. My father's name is Vladimir. I'm not married. I don't have a kid. So just a free person. Nothing. Don't have any background actually. And I'm teacher, music teacher from my education. Yeah.
Thank you, Ashisha.
And next, who is next? Mukti? You've been, right? No?
No, not yet. Thank you.
Oh, okay, good.
My spiritual name is Mukti, and my father's name is Joachim Koschorke. My mother's name is Gabriele Vollmer. I have one brother who's called Moritz, who I love a lot. And I also have a stepbrother who I also love. His name is Kai, he's my age. And yeah, at the moment I became LFT a few months ago, and yeah, excited to go on this journey. Yeah, thank you. Sarika.
My name is Sarika, is the spiritual name. My real name is Hoàng Nữ Lạc Sa. My father's name is Hoàng Ninh. My mother's name is Phan Thị Mộng Thu. And I have three siblings, one older, one brother and two sisters. And they all got married. And Didi Ananda Deva Prisa.
It's about our family, right?
We can't hear you.
A little bit soft.
You can't hear me?
Now we can.
Okay. Sorry, so I tell about the family, correct?
Just your name of your parents.
Oh, the names of my parents. Rosemary and Roger Deshays were their names. And I also have a brother and a sister, younger.
Thank you. So Morgie, just unmute yourself and maybe just tell us how we did or any reflection that you want to share with us around the exercise.
Yeah. You did very well. You did very well. I know mine was way too long. But I do it because I want them to feel to feel welcome, you know. That's why I go for so long. And I don't stop them if they want to end where they are. Immediately after, I give them like 5 seconds to reflect on how they found. But not everyone in the circle will do, only those who feel like. I've learned something today that people have got spiritual names. You see, already I've learned that there's a religion in this group, you know, that gives you, that when I said you get information just from people introducing themselves by their names and all that, I was saying something like that. So yeah. And most of the time, because it's a new group, you hear like from 3 people. Sometimes you get lucky, everybody wants to reflect. And at one group, when I did teachers in Alexandra, a guy actually went to an extent of saying a whole lot of things. And then when he reflected, he told me that he hasn't been home in a year. So just by mentioning his parents' names made him feel like they're closer to him. He brought them within the circle. So it made him feel comfortable to be part of the circle for that day. So yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for sharing.
Lovely.
That's the one that I use most of the time. Yeah.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful ritual.
Though it's long, it depends on how long you have with the group. Yeah.
And from experience, it's time well spent. You might think to yourself, oh gosh, we need to get through the icebreakers so that we could get onto the business of what we're doing. But you've already started. Yeah. And you're wanting people to share about themselves. And when you share the names of your parents, you're sharing something very sacred and intimate and personal about yourself. And at the same time, it's very safe. So you're really setting the tone for people to kind of have the courage to participate. And by having everybody name their parents, and it's an easy thing to do, but sometimes can be very emotional. But at the same time, it creates a place where people can find their voice in the group. And then as you're building the container of the parent circle, it's all these little things. And then at the same time, you're also identifying that they may be parents, but at the same time, they're also children and their grandparents and their siblings. So they kind of see themselves in different contexts already. So without even giving them a long lecture about, you must remember that you're also, one day you were a child and all that. By naming their names, you're just giving them all this information and they feel it in their bodies. And then they are able to kind of move forward. Okay, we can trust each other because now we know where we come from and where you come from. And I know there's not like that for anybody to kind of maybe just reflect, as Monkey says, invite a reflection. So how was it to hear the people that you've traveled with so far over this last year, to hear them introduce themselves like this? And how was it like for you, if anybody wants to share?
Yeah, it was really touching to hear all of you sharing and just getting to know each other in such a short time a bit better. It was really beautiful. And for myself, after I shared, I was like, because some of you were sharing quite vulnerable things that, with your backgrounds, and I felt I have a normal background, but that I was kind of just putting out facts without much emotion. But I mean, that's just what I perceived afterwards. Yeah.
Well, Mukta, it's lovely just to kind of recognize how you saw how other people were opened up the possibility of being more emotionally available. And it kind of maybe you thought, well, actually, maybe I can do that. I can bring more of myself the next time because it's safe, just like you've done now.
Thank you.
So thank you. So are we ready to move on? And it's a nice thing when I say you're ready to move on, like you feel it in your bones that you are ready to move on. It's like, okay, we're done. We're kind of safe now. We're ready to kind of, get our teeth into the stuff. So I'm going to start sharing. Find the slideshow. There we go. Nice. Normally it gives you. Wait a bit. Which? No, but say okay. Just hold on. I'm just trying to get this nice. So I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to share again. Just hold on. I'm just getting the sharing thing right. Like that. That's good. Share that. Share. And this. There we go. Perfect. So hopefully everybody can see the slide quite nicely. So just basically a bit of an introduction about our national lottery, where we got the money, and now we were so excited to be able to develop the program. And we had a big plan to have this major rollout. And we discovered that we could do it quite effectively with quite a low budget. It wasn't necessary to have thousands and thousands of funding. So the way we workshopped it, as the presenter spoke about what he was going to do it had somebody kind of taking notes. And as we introduced it to the group to kind of create context, we spoke about basically how to make parents feel safe, relaxed, and calm, and safe in the circle. So by just doing those icebreakers, the name game, and then sharing where you come from. And then another objective of the group is to help parents understand the value of speaking about feelings with their children. And I know in Munseyville, when we did this workshop, a story that really touched me was a mother was working at night shifts and her children were at school. And they literally used to pass each other. They never had a chance to actually speak to each other. And because of the workshop, she would develop what she called the little feelings booklet. Then she would write in the book when she got home from work how her day was and how she felt. And then the kids used to read it. And then they would write a message to their mom about how they felt. and they were able to use this way of connecting with feelings in a way that really kind of created a closeness in their family. And then help your parents also to recognize the support and resources they have and how valuable they are for the well-being of their children. So the very important lesson experientially is to get the sense of it's important for me to have a resource because that makes my children relax. And then also to give the parents an experience of belonging, and that will want them to come back for more or to work together more effectively. And then we just the kind of things that you would need for the workshop, like a whiteboard, some paper, whiteboard markers, A5 cards for colors, wooden clothes pegs, cardboard puzzle pieces, balls of string. So you kind of, everybody has their like box of kind of tricks that they can bring into a space. And all very simple things that are affordable and easily accessible. And then that would have been the basic outline of the workshop. So you can see in terms of welcome and introductions, explanations and the name game, we kind of put it out like for 30 minutes, but it's very adaptable. You know, sometimes you might just actually create a container in a meeting, and that's fine because you've spent very good quality time and very effective time in building connection between the parents. And maybe that's all that's needed at that time, and they're not ready to move into looking at their challenges and their difficulties, and they can always come back again and carry on with the journey. And then what we do is we create a safe space, and so we've got a calabash or a container that we use to kind of identify how important it is to feel safe. And just like a calabash holds water and is able to kind of keep the water in the container, just as that, we also need to be able to build the container. And then we have a discussion around the importance of having a container at home with the family so the children feel safe. And then the way we do it, we get the people to break up into groups and they come back and they feed back on their experience. And then we talk about parent support and the importance of being resourced in the system. And often this conversation is quite powerful because often people, first of all, recognize or express that they don't have any support. And then by the end of the session, they are able to connect with the resources that they have in their context or in their system. And then we do the feelings thermometer. And then after the feelings thermometer, we do a beautiful exercise around belonging, which I think you've all experienced in a sense of everybody kind of drawing on a puzzle piece. And then we do the spider web at the end, which kind of really just brings everything together where people can acknowledge each other. And I know Vishala was saying a lot of these tools you're familiar with. So it's just a matter of how we use them to kind of build the parent circle. So just as we kind of played a little bit the name game at the beginning, there's a group of us busy playing the name game. There's Monkey in the background. And you just notice the expressions on people's faces. You know, there's a lot of laughter. And this is Mojaji. She's introducing herself as Magnificent Mojaji. And then once she kind of gave the Magnificent Mojaji, everybody had to kind of imitate that. And you can see there's like a shyness in it, and at the same time, like a delightfulness around being able to play together. And then we spoke about the calabash. And then part of the calabash is building the container in a way that people feel safe. So we ask, what do you all need to be able to be fully present in this moment? And everybody comes up with different words, like, I need to know that nobody will talk about what we spoke about in this space, especially in small communities, because, you know, people love to gossip. So you kind of need to feel that no one's going to gossip. So someone might say, okay, we mustn't gossip. There must be love, or we need to listen to each other. And then we ask them to kind of either write them down on a circle of piece of paper, or just on their own piece of paper, and then they can put it into the calabash, or basically that's how we kind of create the container. So Monkey, I don't know, when you do that exercise with building the container, is there anything that you want to add? I'm really putting
Yeah, what
Monkey
I've
on the spot all
noticed,
the time.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just going to speak on my experience. It's nice because you learn by day, you know. Building a container for me, I've learned something that you build it as you go. Especially now because I work with a school community. Remember, it started as a group of grade 7 parents. So these are the parents who knew each other. So it was a bit difficult on the first day to trust each other. You know, when we started building the container, people were like, trust, trust, but people were not um, open. They didn't want to talk a lot because they knew each other and they knew that whatever that they were going to say might be heard outside. So I let them be. And then I made sure that every time as we meet, and I said to them on that day that building a container is something that you can actually do every time when you meet. You add on. And as we went on with the training, I realized that my container was growing until now, where nothing is added on. Now people can talk on their own because I made sure that every commitment that I made that I'm gonna be there on Thursday, I am there. It also depends on you as a facilitator. The consistency and commitment says a lot. Being there, they start trusting you. Now they start trusting in the group itself. I made some notes down because I took note of body language, the tone and everything. I allowed that people who did not want to speak within the group can call me even when I'm home. The relationship went on to an extent that we ended up having subgroups within the group itself. Because you might find that 5 parents are actually sharing the same problem, 5 of them. So when we in the same group, they cannot speak up because they feel that some people do not share what they don't understand where they're coming from. So I managed to start a lot of support groups whereby their containers were easier to be built because now we're talking if let me say for an example, I've got a group of parents with kids who are using drugs. Those parents are now a group of 5 or 10. They're talking about the same experiences. So building a container, they know exactly what a parent with a child who's using drugs needs love. They need this, they need this. So building a container with them as a subgroup instead of a bigger group becomes easier. Now they even went to an extent of checking in my absence, but now they've got activities that they're doing that came out of the group that we need. Vegetable garden in our thing. We need to do 1, 2, 3. We need to do 1, 2, 3. So I realized that building a container is actually not a difficult thing. It's only difficult when you start, but as time goes, it becomes easy with the groups sharing the same problem. I don't know if I make sense.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I really
Really
like.
clear, and that's such a lovely story and such a beautiful use of your creativity to respond to the context in a way that was just, you just got it right.
Yeah.
Is there anyone kind of
So
wanting
yeah,
to kind of ask Monkey something, or is there any kind of reflection that you want to make? Or not?
Well, I just wanted to say I really appreciated that she shared when the parents say, their name, their mother's and father's name, it can be quite emotional. And that, you're in such a calm way, expecting it and holding it for them. And that holding really, I did a workshop recently with teachers where they got very emotional saying their parents' name. And I was a little bit surprised by it. And then I was like, no, this is what happens sometimes, but I think they were very surprised by it. So, and we had done the container and everything. So I appreciated, sharing the knowledge that it happens sometimes and actually it's okay. So.
And when I do work with teachers, especially when I use this thing of introducing yourself by saying your mother's name, and I always say to teachers, because I'm a teacher myself, sometimes we look at a child and we're like, he is naughty. But if we give ourselves a chance to know the backgrounds of the kids now, it gets into their minds that, you know what, we always ahead to say this child is naughty, not knowing what's going on. look at me crying over that my mother is no more and I'm actually independent. I've got a salary. What about a young child in a grade 1 class who doesn't have a parent? So now they start looking at children differently. You know, they start taking note. They start asking questions. What is wrong with this child? And I love what ECL is doing. It changes the conversation between the parent and the teacher, especially if you do work in the same school where teachers learn the tools and the parents as well. Now they look at each other differently and it starts building a stronger relationship for both the guardian or parent and the teacher.
Oh, thanks,
I
Monkey.
wanted to ask one question. So are these primary school age children, and do you meet the parents often? Like usually we meet in the school or kindergarten, we have parents meeting once a year. But it sounds like you have like more often, you're working like more with the parents. Is it because they have some like special requirement, or like, can you tell me a little bit?
I take them as people with a special requirement because it's in a village where most people are not working. So I make it a point that I meet them on Saturdays, and I also have people trained to do ECL work who does it without me. Like today, as we're speaking, I taught them how to make vegetable acha. It's something that I learned. You know, now they've just made vegetable acha for them to sell within the village so that they have money for themselves. So I always make sure that I have people trained to do the work in my absence. So we meet whenever I'm around, we meet like maybe twice in a month. And then I get feedback. I get feedback from the catalyst that I left with.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it depends on the context. So the school that I'm working in, it's it's quite an affluent school, and there's a lot of young girls that are on scholarship. And then what we do, we've got a program for the girls to help them, to support them during their scholarship years. And then we work with their parents. So what we do at the beginning of the year, we have a day workshop with the parents where we do the parent circle with the parents. And then in that place, we create a container like we did now. We discuss resourcing, we discuss the feelings thermometer with the parents. So we can kind of create a sense of community with those parents so that they can support each other for the year as they supporting their learners. So we only see them once. And then what we have started doing, which has been interesting, is then the next year when the new lot of teachers come in, then we redo the workshop for the new parents, and then the old parents, they redo it as well. And then it's quite nice to hear their feedback. So that's how we would do it. So we only do it once with a group of parents in that context.
Also, in I can say in the last group, the last teacher cohort, there was someone that worked with the refugee parent mothers in Greece from Africa and Afghanistan, and they she created she took your Ray's 1 day workshop and broke it up into like a 4 week workshop where she met with them for a few hours for 4 weeks. And they're still using that model. And I thought I had it to put in our resources, but I will get it and put our resources because what's Ray's showing you is in there. And then also this, so I guess the question is there's people have adapted it to what works best in their environment.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to sharing if that's okay. Let me just find the yeah. Share it. There we go. So, in terms of creating the container, I know, Vishala, you've worked quite a lot with creating the container. So we do a little bit of a systemic exercise where we kind of help people identify what would be needed to make a strong container. And then we kind of, everybody nominated with an element or a quality. And so I see Sergio just, he's back. So then what happens is that we ask someone to leave the container and take that quality with them. And then we explore what the impact has on the rest of the group. So it's quite interesting. So like say if someone's nominated for trust, and then we say, okay, trust, leave the room. And then the other elements of love, listening, non-judgmental, they all of a sudden start saying things like, yeah, but now I'm feeling that now I'm feeling judged. Now I'm feeling like I want to judge you when trust goes. And then the other person who says listening is important, they say, I don't want to listen anymore. So then they kind of have a somatic experience of what happens when the elements aren't present in the container. And it's a lovely exercise to actually do if you're kind of feeling a little bit creative and you like working with somatics. It's actually can be a lot of fun. And then that's part of the calabash. That's another way of actually having people draw a circle and then break up into groups and then discuss what elements we need to be able to kind of feel safe. So the group of 3 discuss what you need at home for you and your children to feel supported. So we almost like workshop what they can do with their kids at home to create a safe place, to create the rules of the home. So sometimes I say, imagine it's mom and dad, or it's mom and 2 kids, and you're all kind of having to decide what's the rules of this family that we can feel safe. And then to kind of explain how when the children and the family come up with the rules for the family, then you can hang it up in a good place. And then if someone doesn't, someone lets the rule slip, then you can always refer back to the rules that the family's made. And it's a really nice tool that they can use. And often when we have a bit of feedback, the parents can say, yeah, I tried it. It was really good. I was really surprised about what my children came up with. So it's also quite an empowering exercise to be able to take that home with them. And then we do a really nice piece of work around resourcing. And I'm sure, hopefully, this is probably one of the most pivotal processes that really kind of shift the energy in the group. When I run a parent circle, because this is obviously what I love doing, you see. So sometimes maybe Monkey has another kind of place in the process where everything just kind of turns around and everybody goes to a deeper level. But what I find is that when we do this exercise, and it's very simple, it's just helping parents identify all the stuff that they are doing in terms of support, and then to reflect on what supports they have. And then we kind of model it by doing it ourselves, like Janet's doing it at the moment. So she's writing herself, that's me in the middle, and these are all the people that I have to look after. And then she reflects on all the people that look after me. And often in poorer communities, support is always seen as financial. So it's quite a nice realization when you can actually understand support as having a really good friend that you can go and talk to. And then you say, well, that's good, Joe, write that down. And then when people share their resources, then it also helps other people to recognize, oh, I never thought about that as a resource, but I can put that down as well. Like either church or maybe dancing or listening to good music or the fact that I've got a nice little house. Those all become like resources. And then once we've done that, we do a systemic exercise on the impact of the child when they are faced with this parent that is connected to their resources versus the impact of a child whose parent isn't connected to their resources. So here you can see that's the child standing, that's the parent. The child is facing the parent, and the resource is standing behind the parent. So we start the exercise off by saying, okay, just imagine that this is your mom and this is your child, and she doesn't have any supports anywhere. And then we ask the child, how does that feel for you? And invariably the child says, gosh, it's awful. Like I'm anxious. I'm worried for my mom. And then we say, okay, come and stand behind the mom and see what that's like. And I've never had a case where the child says, oh, it's the same. They say, oh, I feel better. I feel more relaxed. I feel I'm okay. I feel I can look at my mom. So it's a very simple systemic exercise that illustrates how important it is for the parents to build community and to find ways of resourcing themselves so that they can take care of their children better. And the resources, yeah?
I think you need to explain that when you're doing this exercise with parent, one of the parent would represent the child, and then
Yes.
one would represent the parent. So not only does the parent can also feel what does it feel like to be a child with a parent, and they can report it. You're not actually using children, you're using the parents doing this.
Yeah. Charlotte, thanks for like clarifying that. So you can see in the image this guy over here, Bafana, he is the child in the system, but he's not a child. He's actually a father and he's got his own child. And actually, I like to share a story. So I don't know if Monkey remembers this. So this guy, Bafana, he's an entrepreneur and he's a no-nonsense, I need to make money kind of man. And he's got a child. And we did some training around this. And he had actually become, he didn't realize how important he was in his child's life. And when we did this exercise, he got it. And his whole attitude changed in terms of the work we were doing. Because up to now, it was just like a heady experience of learning how to do these workshops. But then when he had an experience of it in himself, then all of a sudden he went, I see how he could feel somatically what it's like for his child not to have support. And it just woke him up and realigned his whole understanding of being a father. And it had such a big impact on his love for doing ECL work at the same time, and it impacts on his own system. So it's a really simple exercise, but very, very powerful. So you can see the way we wrote it up, it's literally, we try to write the manual out in a way that people could be able to use it word for word, like ask 3 volunteers to come to the middle of the room. Place one person in the middle of the room, ask her how she's feeling. And then ask the second volunteer to stand in front of her. And this person, and then ask person 1, what does it feel like when you look at him? And then, so we kind of spoke through it as clearly as we could to make it accessible to anybody that would want to use these tools. Okay, feeling thermometer. So let's stop sharing. So what I would like to share with you, actually, I'm going to share with you another screen quickly. I hope it works nicely. I hear it is. Share. There we go. So these are just beautiful examples of feeling thermometers. So this is from Monkey's work. So Monkey, I don't know if you want to kind of just describe how you kind of manage working with the parents and how your feeling thermometers kind of work out. So what I'll do is while you're kind of thinking about it, I'm going to just, where's the feelings? No. Have I stopped sharing now? What have I done? Let's escape. Let me just find it quickly. Wanted to do that. Oh, there's some other one I've lost. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So these are just different kinds of feelings thermometers that Monk has been inspired. You can notice the pegs, happy, sad. That's one upside down. I don't know what I'm doing there. There we go. So that's a nice one that just kind of, these are the different kind of feeling thermometers that the parents came up with at the workshop. This is, I particularly like this one because it kind of, there's like Andile, sick, and then happy, and Lebo, they've got names. Sad, Tebogo's angry, lonely. There we go.
Okay. When I do training around the feelings thermometer, we start talking about feelings as a group, and then we make sure that they understand that feelings and emotions, the difference between, or is there a difference? Do they understand what feelings are? Blah, blah, blah. And then we create our own feelings thermometers. But now, before we create the feelings thermometers, we explain to I explain why there's a need. And I always use my experiences as an example. I was a teacher, a grade 3 teacher, and I had a problem reading children's emotions before I joined ECL. And then after using the feelings thermometer, I could actually refer a whole lot of kids from the information I got from the feelings thermometer. Luckily, when I was still a teacher, I had an opportunity to train my own parents on ECL tools. And most parents use them at home. So what you do is you just get different color papers, you write names of the emotions, and then each child brings a peg, a clothing peg from home. You write the name of a child on it. As they enter the classroom, they put that peg on an emotion. If the kids are in grade 3, they are able to read, so we write it using words. But the kids who cannot read and write, maybe in grade R also, we use emojis and pictures for them to see this is how I feel, and then they get to put a peg on that picture to show that this is where I am at the minute I enter the classroom, as well as at home. As they leave home, they put their peg on an emotion as well. As I said earlier, that it changes the conversation between a parent and a teacher, because the parents are trained already as to why they need to do that, because it's not easy for children to open up. Remember, in our African way, it's not easy for parents to talk about how children feel. Children are not allowed to feel anything. So now we're trying to show parents this is how it is, and this is the reality, because children are also stressed, whether they're African or not. And the feedback I get from parents is actually very positive. Those examples that Ray was showing now are the work that was done by parents after we did training on a feelings thermometer. They get to go home and create their own feelings thermometers with their families and use it at home, and then they give feedback on our WhatsApp group, because every group that I train, we create a WhatsApp group where we speak, where we clarify, where we give feedback. And those are the homework tasks that I had given the parents, and then they had to give feedback in the group, and then they told me how it has worked so far. So far, the only problem is the husbands. Most husbands don't want to do it. They don't understand why they should talk about feelings. And on its own, it's information, because now we get to know that the men in the houses are the ones having trouble speaking about emotions, which can speak to something that I cannot speak on to, because I'm just a teacher, I'm not a therapist. So yeah, I don't know if I make sense.
Monkey, thanks. I'm just very curious how I know, Linda, especially you were saying like this is one of the tools that you kind of used, and I'm curious about how how people kind of respond to that.
Well, I think it's very interesting because unfortunately, it might be that Didi Ananda Gunmaya popped off. It may be that her internet popped off. She sometimes has trouble connecting. But when I was taught, when I did the feelings thermometer, she's like, yeah, but my kids, their parents, they don't talk about feelings. They don't like to, and I said, well, wait till next week. There's someone who's also may have this experience. And she's like, I don't know, it's like, so I want her to watch this, to see how it's done, because she was like, it's hard because the kids don't, exactly what you said is exactly true for what she said is going on with her and her parents. So, but she's trying to, sort of incorporate some things. So, yeah.
It's a cultural thing. It's a cultural thing. It's an African thing that we don't talk about things, but I get it. When you do it in class and you do it consistently, these kids grow up like my grade 3 class. When they got to the 4th grade, they were used to it. The teacher did not even have a problem. And it helped, not like 100%, but some kids started talking how they were feeling and all that.
Well,
Yeah.
good to know. I'll share with her. She'll be here next week, but maybe
Oh.
she'll be back on. We'll see if she can get back on. I'll WhatsApp her and see if she's
Yeah,
off
it's
her internet.
possible.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Mm. Yeah. Is there any other questions? Yeah, let me put this back on. And share. So you can kind of see how we slowly kind of move. So are you seeing the image or what? I'm just a little bit afraid. All right. Oh, things are happening on you that shouldn't be, right? I'm not sure, what are you seeing at the moment? Half a screen or the whole slide?
The office screen.
Is that better? Now it's working. Okay. No, just, Monkey, this is Monkey doing the workshop that we did around the feelings thermometer. So you can see how she's smiling a little bit. Been a while, eh? So when you it like kind of steps you through the process, like ask everyone to come up with a place they peg on a card on a feeling right now. So once you kind of have a group conversation around identifying feelings that show up. So it's like a neutral place that invites people to start looking at their feelings. And then by pegging them, it kind of creates a way of expressing their feelings in a safe way. And then also at this stage of the workshop, we've gone quite deep already. A lot of feelings have come up. People have connected with their resources. There's been a lot of aha moments. People are feeling a lot much more vulnerable and much more open. There's been a lot of tears often. So when you kind of talk about feelings, it's congruent. It's not all of a sudden, okay, guys, now we're going to talk about feelings. So it's almost at this point, everyone's ready and open to start engaging at a heart level. And this exercise really kind of helps people identify their feelings and then kind of giving them something that they can use, just like Monkey said. Take it home, create your own feelings thermometer with the kids, put it on the fridge, let them express their feelings and experiment with it. And I'm always fascinated by how creative parents can be when they've kind of invited into like a creative space. And then we do a beautiful exercise around belonging. So this kind of meets that part of the outcomes of the parent circle, to be able to get the parents to connect with what it means to be part of something, to belong. So we have this, we got these cards that we kind of cut out on pieces of paper. There's like a puzzle piece. And then everybody draws their respective contribution or how they felt about the group. And then one by one, we ask them to come and place their puzzle piece on the floor to create a big puzzle of the group. And what's also quite nice, if you're going to have a WhatsApp group, what you can do is you can take a photograph of that as an image, and then that becomes the face group's, what is it called? Logo. So that becomes a way of identifying the face group for this particular group. So it's a nice way of helping everybody connect to that place that they all do belong. And then once you've created the picture, you have kind of a nice conversation about what does it say about the whole group. The whole picture is different to the individual pictures, and then reflecting how the sum is greater than the parts. It's a bit ideas as when we all come together, we're much more than simply just always being on our own. And then as you're talking, you talk about belonging and how finding your place in a group and everybody agrees that you belong enables you to kind of feel that you belong. And then also you can say you can use this at home with the family. Everybody belongs in the family. Family can have their picture. They can put them up on the wall and that kind of stuff. And then lastly, the spider's web. So Vishala, you've done the spider's web already.
I get mixed up between class and class, but we certainly we actually talked about it last week. So.
All right. Okay. So this is kind of nice, just a summary of what that spider's web can look like. And at the end of a workshop, it is really a powerful moment where people really do feel the ability to kind of connect with each other and share those experiences. Yes. Yeah, so that's kind of, I don't know, Monkey, I'm just going to stop sharing for a moment and I'm just going to check in with you if there's something else that you want to share. Uh, mm, hope I can find. So I'm just while I'm just waiting for somebody to say something, I'm just checking. I see what's going on. When did we do that? Gosh, I wish you could find it. There's a beautiful video we've got of someone talking about the spider's web. I wonder if I should do this to Monkey.
Well, while Ray is looking,
Yeah,
I can just say again that can be do as a one shot, 1 day thing. It can be done. It sounds like Monkey's done it more as a parent support group. They do these exercises throughout twice a month. And then she sees the needs of the group that she had created a smaller group for like parents who had children that had issues with drugs in a smaller, but they already had sort of that container started at the bigger group and then got into a smaller group. Also, if parents all have something like this group that was in Greece, that all the mothers were refugees. And so there was a focus on that group and that went for 4 to 6 weeks, but once a week. So it can be used in many, many different ways. And a lot of the tools that we've shared can be done with kids, can be adapted for adults, can be adapted for parents. They're very flexible. And I think I'm going to wait to see if Ray now has. I'm just sort of
yeah.
popping up. You can't find it, huh?
Well, I found something else, but I'll show. I can show it. Yeah, it's just Monkey kind of working in the community.
Yeah, let's just do that for our closing. That would be,
That's like a nice way of looking
and
at
I'll
it.
give my group a break and then we'll come back.
All
Great.
right. Okay. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. Here we go. Share sound. Here we go. Nobody can hear it.
The oldest. The oldest comes baby. Anyway. So you stay together, you are in your group. All the kids who are born last, you come stand here where I'm standing. If there is any. Last born. So because we don't have space, I'm not going to stretch it. Because I just want to show you that when there are groups, there'll always be more and less and. So all the middle kids, regardless of whether they're in second, third, whatever, then I take it is everyone sitting down. Yes. How many are you? You're the most in the room. So how do you feel being the most in the room? Isn't that power?
Losing it.
And what about these 4 people?
There we go. Thank you. So yeah, so I would really love for you to kind of, if you have access to a group of parents, just trust your wisdom and from what you've learned, and just be brave enough to kind of, even if it just means having someone with you to kind of support you, and try and run a parent circle in your contexts. And you'll be really surprised about how responsive people are and to what depth you can actually go with the parents. And you've got the experience and you've got the content. And I think you'll be looked after. So that's my parting words, go for it. And I wish I could be able to kind of really say, build the confidence that you feel that I can do this thing. So, Monki, I don't know if you want to finish up and say anything.
Yeah, in closing, I would like to say it was very nice meeting everyone. And Linda, it was very nice seeing you after a long time. And what makes me more comfortable doing parent circles is most of the time I use my mother tongue. When you speak your own language, it's easier to work with the people around you. So it's very nice. I'm enjoying myself. I'm doing ECL work permanently now. I'm not doing any other. And the funders are just, coming along. So be confident, like Grace said, be comfortable, trust yourself. If you need someone to hold your space, always shout. There will be someone to do it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks, Monki, for showing up on such short notice.
Oh, so
Great.
wonderful. Thank you. And thank you, Ray.
Always.
Monkey. It's a pleasure always to have you share your experiences because they're real experiences in real schools with real people and doing real work that's important to help the well-being and creativity and moving forward of people. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
So let
Bye.
me go. Everybody, I don't know if anyone else has anything they want to share before they go. Let's at least give them
I
a minute.
also just want to say thank you for sharing and also just for your presence. It's just inspiring to see you talk and be. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you for
Monki.
sharing.
Mm,
Really great to see the work you're doing in South Africa.
lovely.
Thank you. Right.
Thank you. Okay, go well.
Okay.
Bye.
And everybody else, 5 minutes water in and out, and we'll be back to close up. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks.
That's what I
So
say.
goes that.
That's
Bye.
from that's 5 minutes water in and out is from Frances Boring. You know Frances, the consolator? She always says, oh, she's amazing.
Oh, Prince is boring. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
she
5
always
minutes.
says
Water
5
in, water
minutes. That's
out.
where I learned it from. 5 minutes water in, water out.
Gosh, you can
Thank
go a
you
bit
guys
longer than
so
5
much.
minutes.
Yes,
Thanks so
wonderful.
much, Michelle. It was lovely.
And we should connect more often. I mean, I give you your space because of the work you're doing with my daughter, so I try to give that space. But yeah. We should connect anyway. So
Yeah, it would be good. I know I've been very aware of that kind of
yeah.
space, which is congruent. It's good.
Yeah.
Good,
Okay.
good. All right. Thanks very much. Go well.
Bye-bye. Okay, I'm going to begin. We only have about 20 minutes left, and I'm going to I'd like to show you one thing I've had on my PowerPoint for the last 2 weeks, which we haven't gotten to. But I kind of feel like we're also that was a lot for, of listening to things. So I think the way I'm going to start is I'm going to talk about next week. And then if we have time to do a little bit about the last exercise, because there's a sort of a section of this that could be a whole course and they talked a little bit about resourcing and supporting yourself. They talked about resourcing and supporting parents and kids, but also there's a whole piece about ourselves and how we show up, just like when Ray was talking about the child can sense when the parent's resourced or not. This child can also sense when the teacher is resourced or not. So it's important for us to have to really be in touch with our own resources and support. So hopefully we'll do a little exercise about that, but we'll see. I'm going to just sort of share the screen and talk about how next week is going to work. I have two things for next week. I would like everyone to share their creative briefs, and if they were able to do it to try it out with a small group, even if it's 2 or 3 people, kids or adults, however you do it. And sort of the main thing also is like, what did you notice about yourself in doing it? And what did you notice about the people you were doing it with and trying it out with? It's kind of like an experiment. And I've given tons and tons of examples, probably 4 or 5 each week in the resource section of the Google Classroom that gives you examples of different creative briefs. And as I said before, you can take one of them and adjust it and change it a little bit, or you can do something brand new. And I'm only going to give everyone like 5 minutes to share. So this is not some big production, some big sharing. It's basically the written creative brief and talking about it and talking about your experience with it and your journey with it. So I would like to do that for the first half of the class. And then for the second half of the class, I do want to share with you something that Ray is also trained in, I'm trained in, called the Community Resiliency Model that's put about the Yoga Trauma Institute. And that's a wonderful group of Buddhists that have done a lot of really great work. And I just want to give you a little taste of that and give you some links to some resources if you happen to be working in an environment in the future where you have kids that have experienced some past or recent trauma. And then we'll do a closing. So that's what next week's going to look like. So I'm just going to share now a little bit, go over what's due next week again. And then I have something else I want to just see if we can have time to do. So see, it doesn't really, let me see if we do this. So again, I'd like you to create a classroom brief. It's like a 1-page thing about either belonging, exchange, place or time, or something about your breakthrough question that you want to try out. It should include the breakthrough question of purpose, some kind of stilly exercise or meditation, a creative task, and how will the group share their experiences. So example today, he showed a little bit about Ubuntu, which we tried to do last week. And, he used it in a different way with parents and how they felt about the experience and what they got from it. And then they put it all together about belonging. So that would be how they would share it. So you do some kind of stilling meditation, then explain it, and then you might get them, think back. You might do a guided imagery and then about how, think back on your experiences for the day or for the group, and what are the things that really come out? What are the things you're really going to take with you from this? What are the et cetera, et cetera. Then ask them to draw on the puzzle piece, then place the puzzle pieces together, and then have them share what they noticed about it. So this is, that would be an example of it. Also a short journal, again, like a paragraph about what happened when you were creating it. What did you notice about yourself when trying it? And what did you notice about the group? And what's next? How might you use this again in the future? And you're going to, everyone's going to get a chance to share that next week. And I do understand that some people are not going to be able to by next week have shared it with the group. But if you can, even if it's just a couple of people, it will really enrich the experience. So is there any questions about, I'm going to stop the share for a second. Is there any questions about the creative brief in next week before I move on?
Nope.
Okay. Again, I'll offer, a few people took me up. You can WhatsApp me if you want, if you're, want to have a conversation one-on-one with me about what you plan on doing, or some of the stumbling blocks, or some ideas about what to do, or questions, you're welcome to do that. And I'm also going to stay after for a few minutes today. So now, okay. So now I'm going to go back to the share, and we're going to share something and maybe try out something. We'll see who would like maybe to try to do this. So there's another, let me share this and put in view. I'm going to go back. So supporting and resourcing ourselves. This is a little exercise that I used quite a bit actually with students, and also with with adults. If we were doing a longer course, or doing a whole course about how to use systemic tools with adults, or one-on-one, or with teachers, like a whole thing on teacher circles, or with students, I would have us, and we had more training, I would have us all try this in a breakout group. I have a way to do it online, which I'm going to share today. But if you're in person, it's just a black circle, could be blue circle, green circle, it doesn't matter. And then 4 things. One little Post-it note with an arrow, or a little piece of paper that's your name. One that's a goal, or the thing you want as a result of finding an answer to your breakthrough question, or answer to a question. When I worked with this with students, I would be like, what would you want to have happen that would make things in the classroom better for you? And some kids would say some things like, I'd like to, not get kicked out of class all the time for my misbehavior, or I'd like to learn to read better, or whatever. Obstacle, the thing that's getting in the way of finding it, and a resource, something that help you reach your goal. And then you have someone hold a question or issue or goal, and then they are going to place these. And so I'm going to give you some examples, and then I'm going to ask someone to demo it with me. And I have a way to do it online. So here we go. This is a way I did it with drawing with a kindergartner, and they placed themselves, and they placed, what do they want to have happen? And then who, what might be hard for them, and how, and what's going to help them. And so it's very, as you see, barely representational, because it's a very young child. But then, or I might talk to them about it and show this, and then draw another picture of all the people that help them and support them. And I think that's what this was. And then they would take that with them. So if you feel like you're having a hard time in class, you just take your paper out and look at all the people and support and love. And then one might be their mother or the teacher, I think, with the little desk, and their friend in school. And it sort of anchors them and helps them. This is one of my favorite stories. This is a teacher who came to me with a student. She said he has no one in his life. He's completely alone. And she's so distressed about this student who has nobody. It turns out that his mother had a drug problem and was in and out of the house quite a bit. And he was left alone quite a bit, she thought. And so I had him do this exercise, and he kept on putting more and more and more people as resources. And the insight that I got from it was that it's not that he didn't have anyone, he had too many people. He was shipped to one grandmother's, then an aunt, then another grandmother, and then this uncle and this. And it wasn't that he had nobody, it was that he had too many. And so this was an instance for me working with a child where I got such an insight, and then was able to share it with the teacher that, yes, he missed his mom. He really just wanted his mom. And I think with this, we just sort of at the end, he felt that, and that he had a lot of people. And I had him pick 1 or 2, I think, and then we took a picture of it and printed it out, and he kept that. And this is a way to work with adults. This works if you're having 2, if I'm working with an adult, or 2 adults working together, and it works quite nicely with them. And you don't have to just have one resource. You could add others. And what happens is when you put down yourself, I'll show you, and then put down your goal, and then an obstacle comes in and things move. Then as you move in resources, sometimes the whole thing kind of shifts and you get a new picture. That's what we're going to try to see. I have tried this with a whole group using a yarn and stuff, and I found that it's kind of difficult to do it with a whole group. You can do it, but it's better to do it one-on-one in a smaller environment. So I think I'm going to bring this up because this is how I do it online. And I'm going to get it ready, but I'm going to stop the share for a second. So I'm going to ask, is there a volunteer that would like to try this? Maybe they want to try their breakthrough question, or they want to try something that they have that they want to, a question that they had that they would like to, that they feel they are a little stuck in and they'd like to get some. Now, you don't have to reveal what it is. You can do it blind too. You can just say, I have a question. You can either say what the question is or not. It's up to you. So do I have someone that would like, I will facilitate it, that would like to try to see how this would work for them. Hmm.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, I would like to try.
Okay. So Scott's going to put the link for you because you're going to come into it. Okay.
Mhm.
Going to put the link in the chat, and then I'm going to come into it, and then we'll work on this together and everybody else can see. Okay. I'm going to put this. I have to get my, wait a second. I'm trying to get this so I'm, nope, that's not working. Okay. I'm trying to get the screen off. Okay. Let me just make sure it's available for you to come into. Are you able to come in, Mukti?
I think I'm in, yeah. One
Okay.
second.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, so see if you can move these arrows. There we go. So let's just take a moment and breathe, and just, we can do a little bit of ideation for just one moment. And take a couple breaths. So why don't you start by just placing yourself in the circle? The white is you.
Mm.
So just place yourself in the circle. You should be able to click on it. Yep.
Yes.
And then place your goal or question where, and just do it by kind of feel. That's yellow.
Mm.
So where are you in relation to, where does it look like? And as you notice, you can change the directions of the arrows if you want.
Mm.
So just take a moment to have that settle. Just might take a few tries to find where the right place is. Okay.
Yes, I think that's it.
That's it. So there is you, and the direction looks like towards the goal, and the goal's direction not quite facing you. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So why don't you bring in the green? And if you need another, let's just bring one obstacle in and place where the obstacle is. What is the thing that's, you might not know what that is. You could either name it and say, well, I'm stuck with this or not, or you might not know. You feel it, but you might not be able to name it. So why don't you bring that in and place that?
I think the obstacle is something like lack of confidence and kind of
Okay.
uncertainty.
So lack of confidence and uncertainty.
Mm,
Okay.
fear.
Fear. Sounds like lack of confidence and uncertainty and fears. It might be more than one. So let's see if I can
Let's
make
see.
a duplicate of this and put 2 in.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you, we'll see if it's 2, it might be 3, but let's see.
So they're there, but maybe they're not like totally in front of me, but
Right, right. They're next to you.
certainly there.
Right, right.
Yeah, that looks fine.
Does lack of confidence and uncertainty feel like 1 or 2?
Hmm.
I think let's keep it as 1 for now, okay?
Okay,
Fear seems very separate.
that's right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Mm.
So can you identify what you have? And it could be definitely more than one. I'm going to just here make, I'm feeling like maybe I want to make 3 available for this. I don't know why. Just going with my intuition here. So let's start by just bringing one resource in. And when you touch the resource with your cursor, try to see if some resource comes into your mind. Take a breath, maybe say your mantra and see if there's a resource that you're identifying that's coming into this. And then move it. Have it find its place. Sometimes resources are not, we don't know what they are, they just are. And they make their appearance later. There we go. It's okay that it's a little bigger. I think that's
going.
the field. Yeah. So don't move the other ones in yet. Just give this a chance, take a breath and see if anything moves. If something moves when you bring that in, just let it settle in for a minute. Is there movement?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this enough or do you want to bring in another resource?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes.
So again, touch your cursor to it, sort of see what resource comes to mind and then bring it in. Like the resources helping you move forward, huh?
Yeah, and kind of moving in the
Yeah,
same direction.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think this one represents all of you, or
Mhm.
I mean, this course and kind of
Right, right.
Anandamaya community. Yeah.
Is something changing with the goal or the obstacles? Is there movement there, or this is movement?
Maybe this is growing.
Okay.
Hmm. Hmm. I think I have another one, another spot.
All right. But you can go. The same process again.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is that a good place to leave it, you think?
For now, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to stop the share. Then we'll just talk about it for just a second.
Mm.
Did I stop the share? Yes, I think I stopped the share.
Yeah.
So I would invite you you have the link for this you can I'm going to you take this and play with it a bit during the week if you want to, or use it and see if the movement continues and what happens. But it's very easy to set up, kind of. So I'll restrict access to just you and me, and no one else will have editing for this. Okay? Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Mm.
So you can see a simple exercise for this as you have a goal and obstacles that you have. You can have when you bring your resources in, maybe you can just report about that, because some of the questions and the obstacles and stuff are private. They don't have to be shared publicly. And when I do this with people, either if kids, it's a little bit more out in the open, but sometimes with adults, it's just their own internal process. So for Mukti, what was that like for you to bring resources in for that? Or for that process? What was that like?
Yeah, very empowering, very positive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is something you could try with somebody else if you're brave enough. Or I also offer, if someone wants to go through this process with me, I'm happy to demo it with you. set up your own little board and we can try it. But I have found this to be a very good tool on a one-to-one, or if for me, if I'm having some kind of issue to support with me, I can even do it myself, kind of. You can even use this and ask yourself the same questions and do I need more? And you can go through that whole, and there's it's in the resources for you. So any other comments or questions about this?
Mm,
Yes.
Namaskar.
Mhm.
I think it is very useful tool because we can have the how say the clear vision of our how say something like that. Sometimes we just imagine in our mind, but if we using this tool, we can see it clear.
You see a
Clear.
picture.
Yes, yeah. Can see the picture and we can how say. I think when use when we are using it and trying to put the place of article or goal something like that, and we can how say deeply thinking about what is our goal and what is as obstacles and what is how say who the resources of
Or,
supporting.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And we can how say see clearly not only like what it is, but we can see how say and we can see is that our real goal or is that is a real obstacle or something like that. I
Right.
think it,
Right.
yeah, when we just putting with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other thoughts before we go? Okay, thank you. As I'm saying, I'm sharing with things, but you have to find the safe environment for you to try them out in, try it with yourself or try it with a friend and how would we use this in a classroom? Well, we could use it. I've used it with another teacher with an issue that they had in the classroom with the kids or with kids, or for myself. So, when, to support myself. Okay, everyone. Well, I'm very excited. I want everyone to come next week, even if you feel really like, oh, I didn't get everything complete for the creative brief. I want you to come anyways. So I don't want you to say, oh, I'm just not going to show up. I want, and really try to, do as much as you can. And I think it'll be a nice sharing for us at the end. And of course, I'll stay after. So have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week. Can't believe it's almost over already. So.